Right, folks, here we are. This is going to be our second match in as many hours, a couple of hours. We had the semi-pro match earlier on, and which was on the winner's side, and now we've got a one-loss side match with drtys and gjsimo, which was scheduled to start at the top of the hour. There's a 20-minute timeout, and gjsimo, I believe, just arrived home. The match is underway, and let's head in. So it's a race to 101 loss side. drtys has won the lag and put put Simon into break. I'm just going to finish off my coffee because I had to rush to get something to eat. Now, I think there's a bit of a delay. I don't know whether Simon's doing something. Well, I thought we were underway. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. So, gjsimo breaks off. That's actually not a bad break, believe it or not, because he's left nothing easy here. So it's a non-handicap tournament, remember, and it's only the race to 100. And this match could honestly go either way. I think the two of them are pretty evenly matched, although the rating would suggest different. But well, that depends who uses their head, you know, more than the other player. And straight away, a risky shot by gjsimo. He's got an easy safety. And this cue ball is going to be running back into the other balls at the pace that he has to cut this 5. So he's going to open some balls out here. And he's way off the mark. But look at where the cue ball's finished. Well, he certainly didn't play that shot. Cue ball stuck right in the middle of the pack. And, well, drtys can't get to a ball. Can only play the safe. So Simon got lucky there. So the first point on the board for drtys. Well, he's going to run into something here with this cut. We just nudged off the 3 and that prevented it. Where's the cue ball going? Well, let's have a quick clarification where they're from. gjsimo, living in Scotland. drtys, Canadian. And I hit the wrong button. That's better. So 14 ball across the table. Now I think he can he get to that one? Yes, he can. Now he's got himself out of line. Got a long 7. But if he just runs it in, well, he's run way up the table here. Needed to control the pace in that a bit better, but he's still got the 6 into the middle or the 2 into the far corner. We can run through for the 2 or the 3 here. He's sort of slightly in between, but he's okay. And we could even get to the 14. Now, well, there's no great break ball there. 4 balls in the middle of the triangle, so it doesn't count. Let's get our little plug in again. Always pays to advertise. And it won't work, so that's done. Forget that idea. Well, the 8 ball is a break ball if he gets the connection good. Now, how's his luck? You always need that bit of luck. And there's not a lot to go for. He's calling the combo. Well, he's got a lead of 15. I'd be playing the safety. Well, I think again he's got lucky here. He's left nothing easy. And the question is whether Simon is content to try and keep it tight or taking a risky shot in the 9. And misjudged, and there is the penalty you get for taking risky shots. He's now left a 1-9 combo. That's dead set. Now Dirty should already have spotted that. Well, that was a poor one. And Simon now can take the 2, but he's got a perfect opportunity to smack into the 1, pot the 9 and break open the balls. I don't think he's even looked at it. Well, he's went off the 2, and I think he's locked himself up here, has he? Well, that's... He should have probably took the combo rather than the 2, but then that's hindsight. So now he's left with a combo. Should get it though. I mean, there's a wee distance between them, but it's an easy enough combo as long as he lines that 4 up. He's got to remember the cue ball though. He can't leave the cue ball in amongst them. And that's finished up okay. So this is Simon's first real scoring opportunity now. But again, a poor one. Not a difficult shot. And it's only 3 points, and Simon's got the same problem as he had in his first match. Good evening, Simon. You want to get your scoring boots on here. Take your time a bit more. Focus on the pot. Am I out of sync? Is that Dirties that missed? Because I'm looking at Dirties at the table right now. Is that you shooting, Simon? Oh, shit. Right. Quick exit. I'll be back in a sec. Right, so hopefully we've rectified the matter. I'm now looking at gjsimo shooting. Oh, I was out of sync because drtys is only in 3 and Simon's in 18, so that was a weird one. And there wasn't any problem getting into the room, but out of sync for anybody who's watching is when you do what I'm doing and you're looking at the HUD and you can see who's shooting. And there's a scratch. And it turns out it was the opposite way around. It was Simon that was at the table. So with that scratch, drtys loses a point. gjsimo has ball in hand behind a head string. And that definitely was gjsimo, and that definitely was a poor one. Careless and too much in a hurry. Got to take your time. I think the other thing is I've been doing a bit of testing, and I think these settings that Virtual Pool 4 has for a mouse, and depending on the advanced settings that you have to make sure that your cue goes through in a smooth stroke and a controlled speed, because I'm convinced that that plays a big part in you lining up shots and also squirting the cue ball slightly, which is why you miss. I think a more focused and controlled shot is giving you a bit more accuracy. I've noticed that. But snapping the cue through quick, I don't think helps the situation. I think a bit more of a smooth action and delivery will help the trajectory stay more reliable. Of course, you can shoot me down in flames, but there's no harm in trying it. So we've got the 2-ball cluster, which is doing nothing there. We've got hopefully drtys at the table. And now he's in no man's land. I need to watch he doesn't scratch off this 14. Although having said that, I don't think there'll be a lot of damage done with what he possibly will leave. But if he gets this all wrong, he could actually break those 2 balls with that 14 ball by mistake. And he's potted it. So the thin edge off the 4 and bring it over to the top rail would be the safety. He's calling the bank. And this, unless there's another match scheduled, which in all honesty matches can be scheduled at any time if 2 guys meet up in the lobby, but it more than likely is going to be the last stream in VP4 of 2018, or certainly before Christmas. But there'll be quite a few guys taking time out with the family, etc. And Simon's going all round the table, missed the pack, went straight into the hole, but it is safe. You've got to get these thin safeties right. We've seen how easy it is to bring a ball out of the pack, and that was far too heavy. And he's got away with it. In a way, no, he's left the 1 on. The 1 can be cut. Now, I don't know whether Simon looked at that 1 ball, but that 1 ball certainly was cuttable, and he could certainly see enough of it to pot it, and he could have actually run into the pack and brought something out. Yeah, that 14 goes. Where's the cue ball going? Oh, he's okay. Now, the annoying thing on a stream in Virtual Pool 4 is when I keep moving the camera about. I tend to do it less in 9-ball, but I tend to do it more in straight pool because I like to see the pack to see if there's anything set, because that's what you have to do. You have to study the pack to see if you can pick out any combos, especially during safeties, because it's very easy to set up a combo or a billiard or something like that. So early on, we've got gjsimo building up a lead. And the only problem is those two and the 10-ball. And hopefully this match, well, it should be over before 8 PM, because that's when I need to be in my bed. This will be my last night up at 2 AM, starting work at 4 AM, and hopefully most people have done their Christmas shopping and I can get home early and catch up with some hours sleep. So this contribution goes to 11. The 14 ball is, oh sorry, not the 14, the 12. My eyes are terrible looking at that from here. The reflection off that green, looking at that ball from a distance, that tells me it's a 14 ball and it turns out to be the 12. Right, so Simon needs to get back into the table, but not too far. Well, has he gone far enough? No, he hasn't. He's left it too straight. And now he's going to try and pinch something here to get a nudge. Yep, that was always going to happen. So, just the safety. And he can run to the long grass here and leave a teaser for drtys. But what he should be doing is just brushing that 10 ball into the cluster and heading back the same direction. And he's looking at the pack, but there's nothing really there worth risking at all. So just the safety needed. But he's doing the wrong thing here. This is a big risk, especially when you're trailing 33-8. It's not the right time to be doing this. But in it goes. A brave shot. Now, is he going to get the benefit? That's something that I wouldn't have played, and I think he might live to regret it, because he's got a very tough 14 into the middle and he's got a 5 ball. That is not cuttable from there, surely. He hasn't called the reverse bank, has he? Because I don't even think that's on. I don't think he's looked at the 14, because the 14 goes to the middle, and he tried an impossible shot, and now he needs a bit of luck and he's not going to get it. That 14 went into the middle. So it's going to be the same old story. It's like the match earlier on, and I've totally forgotten. I I have completely blanked out who semi-pro was playing earlier on. I'm trying to think. I mean, it was less than an hour or so ago, and I've totally forgotten. I'm gonna have to look at the bracket. That's embarrassing. Who the hell was he playing? And I sat and watched the match. Vince says that's it. Good God. Yeah, Vince says had chances in the match and couldn't score. He had one scoring run, which I think was maybe, what was it, into the 30s, and that was really it. He had only bits and pieces, and he was punished on regular occasions for his mistakes by semi-pro, who won comfortably in the end. Like I say, and I said on the last stream, Vince says is showing off a 2,770 rating, but he certainly did not play like a 2,770 rated player. There was shot choices that were wrong, and he paid dearly for his choices. And drtys has fallen into the same trap. You know, he took a brave shot on, but he couldn't back it up. Got the pot, ended up in nothing really, or nothing easy. And already gjsimo has added 10 to his collection. And his lead now goes to 43 points to 9. Now, if Simon pots the 7 and stuns it up the table with the cue ball, he can stun this way. That'll do. That'll do, because he can cut it, and if he plays it with a little bit of inside just to sort of straighten it up slightly, he can hit the corner of the pack. Well, he's hit the middle of the pack, and that's bounced off the pack, off the back rail and back into the table. That's finished up quite good. And again, it's just about picking off what's there. You don't need to do any work other than pot the balls that you can see. Worry about the cluster as and when the time comes. The angle's there in the 11 to run into something, but again, you still don't need to. You just pick off, use the 7 ball as emergency backup for the time being, and take what you can get. He's a bit more angle in this 10 than he wanted, but he can come across with the 11. And he's missed the 10. Again, hurrying too much. The pace is wrong. You just need to slow down and take your time. That's one big criticism with a lot of players, where they're just desperate to pot balls and they're not really focusing on the situation, which is what you need at all times. And meanwhile, drtys comes to the table. He's got 1 point and he's still trailing by 40. And he's forced into taking the 7 because there's nothing else on. And this is even difficult to get the cue ball in any position. How's that finishing? Well, it's not much better. He's really just picking off what he can. Now, if that had just run another foot, he would have had a shot in the 4. Now, where's the safety coming from? Well, all he's going to do playing that shot is cutting that 4 to the rail and coming back across this pocket. I mean, the pot was never on. So, the visit only brings 3 points. Admittedly, there wasn't a lot to be going by there for Dirties. But DJ Simon, not a lot to have here either. Just looking at that 15, it's a bit much on the one side, I think, to go comfortably into that pocket. Right, let's see if my little plug thing will work now. Well, the pattern's going in not the right way here for Dirties. His contributions are very few, and DJ Simon's just been allowed to pick off what's there just to build up that lead. So Simon is under no pressure. And Dirties really needs to get a bit more thought into his play to overcome this situation in other ways rather than trying to always pot his way out of problems. Well, this I think is far too straight to do anything with it. With a slight angle, managed to draw into the rail, and he's got one. That will count. You always just need that little bit of running. Now, there's an angle there to run over to that side behind the 11 if you'd used the help in English. And you see what happens with safeties if you get them too thick, you'll brush a ball out. So the 5 ball's been opened. It's maybe not a great ball to bring an awful lot out by the looks of it. Well, that's ended up better than I thought it would. He's certainly got the 11. And if he plays around the corner, just a nice pace shot, nothing hard, off there with a wee bit of help in English, can come out and land in the 7 or the 1. So you don't need to force anything here or try anything desperate. He's hit that way too hard. I mean, there's no way that cue ball should be down in this bottom cushion. That's just not thinking about what you're doing. Pace of the shot far too hard. There's no way he played for the 7 from this end. And the cue ball running away. So the 1 is the backup ball. And once again, if he plays this right, he can come down here and get the pace right and at least leave him a chance on one of those 2 balls. Now, he doesn't need to slam the 1, he has to judge the pace. Let's see if he's thinking about what he's doing. Well, I think he's done well to actually still have a shot. He's on the 14 and a run through and out into the middle of the table. I think it's gone a bit straight. I don't know whether he wants to risk this, but there's nothing there. He has to run around the corner if he can with a bit of top. But is he lining up the top? Oh, it's went far too square. Maybe the angle wasn't as good as what I thought it might be, but a thin safety just nudged the 13 into those cluster of balls. Very thin. In fact, you don't even need to get to the top end of the table, the bottom end of the table. Just gentle. Now, what's he left here? Well, that looks as if it's not dead set, but it's going into the right hand side of the pocket, that combo. And gjsimo, well, I presume he's looking at it now, but I'd be calling it because it's as good as in from this distance. Where's the cue ball? Oh, now that shot there, a bit too heavy, but he's still got a shot. Well, that 8 ball, it's going to drop in, so makes it simple now, because that 8 ball could have finished awkward there for this 13. It could have ended up in a blocker. Now the 12 ball into the middle, but he has to come back one way or another to get down onto this 10. Now that's tracking pretty good. The pace looks quite good as well for the breakout. That is pretty good because he can run into the corner of the pack. Well, he just needs to stun it into it. How's his luck? Oh, that's unlucky, I think, because the 13's now blocked by the 14. He's got absolutely nothing easy. The 4 won't get to the corner pocket. The only one that is really on is the 3. It does go. The 3 cuts that way. I don't know whether he's looked at that. If he looks at the 3, it cuts between the 2, between the well, I think the 1 ball and the 6. Well, he took the 4 in the end. It was a tough one, but it was a good shot. It was never easy. And now he's got a bit more choice here. And all the time he's just creeping away from drtys. And remember, we're on the 1 loss side. So both of these players, this is their last chance really on this side of the bracket to stay in the tournament. And gjsimo is on the road home here on 6 to 8. Now, is this nice? Let's have a look at that 7. Bit too much to actually run into the pack, I think. Oh no, he's managed to nudge something. Now that well, it's opened him slightly, but it's not really given a lot of choice. Simon calling the bank. And drtys just left with a 14 ball. If he controls the pace, he can come across the other side. And maybe, I don't know whether he can maybe get a shot on that 2. That 2 will go as long as you get this side of the table. But again, his pace has got him nowhere, I'm afraid. So you're looking for the safety here. And, well, he could try running the 13 to the rail and bringing the cue ball to the bottom rail and looking for cover there. He's calling the cross bank. And this could end up in another sellout here. But he's got the bank, but hasn't got any luck. Didn't touch anything at the top end. So now it makes it more... Now this is where he could play that safety. He could run the 13 gentle and just try and leave the cue ball on the end rail. Which hopefully, for his sake, wouldn't leave a lot on. It would leave... It might leave the 8 ball, but it wouldn't be easy. But he's just opened it up. And all Simon just needs to do is just be patient and just pick off what he's going to get. Clearly drtys isn't looking to lock the game up and keep it tight. But he's not backing himself up. He's not scoring when he's getting his chances. And so gjsimo is just 28 away from the next round on this one loss side. Well, slam the 2 in and up and down the table and hope you hit something. That's the sort of general instruction here. Well, he hit something. He hit the 2 again. And that shot there, drtys has to use the jaw and the ball to get that cue ball around and try and run into the pack. He has to use the rail and the ball. And is he trying to draw it? Yeah, that was never on. Well, at least he hit the back. But the way that ball was sitting, you could use the rail and the ball to create your angle with a bit of help in right English to send the cue ball. I'll get my lines right. Wait a minute. What we got? My little doodle thing's playing up. No, that's better. Oh, it's going the other way again. Right, he could have used it that way and a bit of help in English to go sort of that way. That would have been my plan. But he managed to pick out a shot. Well, this has to be created, this bank. So it's a cross bank. And now that's a perfect angle on the 11. And so with a perfect angle, you don't need to force it. You just need to pot the 11. The cue ball does the rest. You don't need to hit this far too heavy. You're bound to bring something out. You just need that luck to get on something. Medium pace is all you need here. He actually came off that ball. Now he's going to scratch. And the only good outcome there is he didn't hit the back. So it's a big, big target to hit. Easy safety. Push the 10 ball off the end rail, back down the table to this end as we look, and leave the cue ball behind the pack. That would be the sort of standard safety here. Now you see, that's the problem. He's going to have to miscall it obviously, but if he'd called a safety there, he wouldn't have to have miscalled. The safety in virtual pool straight in straight pool is the control button and the left square bracket, which is next to the letter P on the keyboard. That's how you call a safety. Now, very thin. That's how you have to get your connection to the pack. Very thin, so you're not doing any damage. Now you play this shot off the 10 with a bit of right English so that when the cue ball hits the rail it sends it further up the table. It just helps it up the table. And he's playing with a little right. He's just got to get the weight right. That'll do it. That's exactly where you want to be on that rail. And it makes the thin safety more difficult to judge when you're playing from a distance. Now, well, I think that isn't the potting angle with that 6 ball. He's calling the bank. And he's going to have to create the bank, but can he get the cue ball out of the way? Well, I don't know whether that's the angle, is it? That looks as if it's going to go to here. Going to have to send that 10 ball that way slightly to make the bank. And that's the problem, that you need to get the cue ball out of the way. Yeah. So, again, another risky shot to take. And if Simon plays this with a little bit of left, he can run into the pack, make sure he hits them. And that's broke out. Good enough. Good enough because he only needs that 1 ball to get him going. And there's a few balls to choose from, I think. We can get the 6 certainly. And he can go around the other side for the 5. But he's hit that too hard. I don't believe he wanted to be there. This 7 ball is tight. What's he called? Well, he's called a 14. That's definitely far too tight looking at that side. So Simon on 78, Dirties on 22. Now we've got 2 balls locked up in the left hand rail at the top end, near the corner pocket. And that's helped. Little brush onto those balls there has freed them all up. Three balls awkward on that right rail near the middle pocket. Well, now's his chance to roll through off the 1 and take care of the 3, because if he does that, he can certainly stop the cue ball and have his choice of what he wants here. Now, once again, somebody needs to explain to me why he did that. I mean, that is just using no thought process whatsoever in what you're doing. If he was trying to move the cue ball to move these balls, he didn't need to do anything. With that one ball being spotted, it's now tied up a couple of balls again, but that won't worry Simon. He's got a healthy lead. And immediately scratches. So there's a bit of untidiness here, but I would just love to get a hold of Dirtys and ask him why he didn't see the simple shot there and why he tried something crazy. Because you can see there's a lack of thinking in what he's doing to end up doing what he did. Now, what about this 13? Well, that 13 pots and a little nudge will just open the remaining 2 balls. And that little nudge has given him a break ball. And if he plays the 14 right, he can get that cue ball out to play the break shot. Now, this, I'd be hitting this 14 with a bit of stun so that I'm not as close to the rail. Well, he's gone way, way over to the left. That's far too heavy. He just needed to stun it in and not let the cue ball run. Take the risk of stunning it in, and that way it gets the cue ball out. So he can have a more comfortable shot in the 1. This just requires a safety. But, you know, he's so far in front, he's going to have a slam at it. And he's played it well. When you see the difference when you're not under pressure, you can pull out those shots. And look at what he's left with. Well, he's got a pot in the 3. And now, just pick off what's there. He's sitting in 84. And it's, oh, where's the cue ball? Oh, that's careless. Again, just getting sloppy. Well, that's an improvement. There's now 3 more balls there for the taking. So I suppose Dirty's objective here is just to make the score look better. I think his objective should be to get to 50. And now he's going to try and open these off this one. No doubt about that. And how's his luck? He's still okay. That's everything sitting there. He doesn't need to do anything else. He just needs to get the cue ball moving. And now he can get rid of the 12. And if he just rolls through, he can have a choice at either of these two. Well, now he's got lucky again. Ran into no man's land here, but he's found the nice gap. And it's going to be the second. I'm looking to see where there's a break ball here. None of they two are going to be any good to him. And these here aren't going to be much better. And then the 4 at the back of the pack, well, that's going to go now. So now he's got fewer than ever choices here. Little flick. Right, so now he has the chance to leave an angle on that 12 to get the breakout shot. So you can cut it into the right middle pocket and let the cue ball run into the pack if he gets the position right. Well, once again, that's not how I would have played it. He's got a slight angle in the 2. I don't know whether the trajectory is going to take him to the pack though. No, he actually stunned that more than anything. So now gjsimo has a big target to go for. Dirty's run ends at 12. His score moves on to 37. And gjsimo has, well, he's got an easy safety. Very thin. gjsimo on 84. And that's too heavy, but I think he might be okay. Well, Simon has got a 6 ball, which he might as well have a go at, because well, the worst thing that can happen is the cue ball comes down here and he'll have a shot in a 4. Well, Dirtys has got that choice. He could just drop the 4 in, cue ball's going to run to here and he'll have a shot in a 6. Not a lot else after that, but it's 2 points to reduce the deficit. But it doesn't need to be slammed, it just needs to be potted and rolled in. You see, he's way too heavy. Far, far too heavy with his shot control. And that's something he should work on. And I still say it's down to how you set your mouse up. If you don't set your mouse up where you've got the confidence and control to play weighted shots, and when I say weighted shots, you know what was required there. It was just a roll in and let the weight of the cue ball, the trajectory is going to take you around here. You know fine well it's going to end up in a 6. So thin off the 6, head down into the long grass. And this shot here, the same off the 2, as thin as you can off the 2, and give distance between the cue ball and the pack. Now, even if you play this shot and you miss the 2, the worst that's going to happen is you're going to lose a point, but you're not going to leave anything on. And a study of the pack shows that there's nothing set, there's nothing that way, but gjsimo now has made the mistake. Now again, if you look at the shot, he can play the soft draw like a kill shot and leave the cue ball here and pot the 12 and break into the pack. And now he's ended up nowhere. So the biggest criticism I've got for drtys is he needs an awful lot of work on his control of the cue ball, but a lot of that is down to him spending time working on his pace control with the mouse sensitivity, because he hasn't got it. You can see that that's lacking, and that improvement, if you make that adjustment and find a more controlled approach to your game, it can improve your game tenfold. I mean, but as I say, it's down to whether a player's interested in actually going to those lengths, but he really needs to. That bit of time working on the pace is what needs to be done. Polo, you're not as knackered as I am. The last 2 nights I've been in bed at 8 o'clock and I've been up at 2 o'clock in the morning, and I've started my shift at 4. That's how knackered I am. And this will be my last one before Christmas, thank God. Oh. 3 2 AM starts in a row, it's a killer. I'm knackered. I mean, I'm waking up, and then I've got those couple of hours. I mean, the first half hour I do nothing other than get the kettle on and sit and watch the news and wake up. But I'm going to my work. I'm driving like 17 miles to my work, and for most of it I've got one eye open. And I've actually got the air conditioning on in the car. I've got it on as cold as I can get it, just to keep me awake. Because as soon as I put the heat on, luckily it's been fairly mild the last few nights anyway, but as soon as I put the heat on and the heat builds up, that sends me to sleep even more. So I have to yank down the fresh air and just put it on to cold, and that just keeps me awake. Anyway, gjsimo rapidly approaching the result here. Well, I mean, it makes a big difference. See, if you are feeling a bit tired when you're driving, get the window open and get that cold draft in. That's refreshing, if anything. And now this, on this 8 ball, is a perfect angle to run into that pack, but you don't need a lot of weight. It doesn't need to be slammed. Just a little glancing blow is enough, and that's the kind of pace that you need just to break out a few balls. And gjsimo on 97, and there's all the balls he needs to win the match. You can pot the 14, get on to the 13, or you can pot the 12, go on to the 13. So he's now on 98, 99, and the 13 for the match. So gjsimo is going to march on in this tournament. As I say, I'm not being ultra critical. I'm hopefully offering constructive criticism. But drtys, spend some time working on your pace. Just practice lagging and mess with the sensitivity of your mouse and get more comfortable and maybe better control of the cue ball and control your pace. So gjsimo wins the match, 100 points to, what was that, 39. Let's have a quick look at the bracket and we'll see how that shapes up. The one thing's for certain, Well, there's Vinces, who lost today against Semi-Pro. He's sitting there. He's going to have a long wait. And Larry is down there in the bottom of the bracket. Likewise, he's going to have a wait. Now, where the hell's Simon gone to? Where are we? There he is. So Simon is now through to the next round on the one-loss side. And looking at the bracket here, well, Tony Sam never showed up for his match, so the chances are he'll be away for Christmas and the New Year, probably adding to his tan. So he'll probably have entered the tournament and never intend playing in it. Mr. Bill is sitting there. So there's a long way to go here. Now let's look at the dates. I mean, these matches on this side have to be played by the end of the year, by December the 30th. So these guys here have only got a couple of days left to get their matches organised, the ones that have still to play. And if we look on the winner's side, the way it stands now, Acero is waiting on an opponent. He's waiting on the winner of Baker, Maker and Tin. And Acero has until next year, 2019, into January before his match. What's that? January the 9th. So, and these guys have got until December the 30th as well. So, you know, don't look for a lot of action between now and the new year, I don't think. There's a lot of matches to be arranged. Nothing's set in the bracket now. All the matches that were set have all been completed today. And with that then, if anybody's still watching, thanks for your company. Hope you have a nice Christmas and a nice New Year. And I will see you again soon, no doubt. Well, I'm going to bed in, what, 40 minutes. That's my cut-off point. Right, see you later, guys. Thanks.